What if I told you the busiest contractors in your area already know exactly what they're going to do when the slow season hits, while everyone else waits until the phone goes quiet to panic? They're not lucky. They're not busier than you. They're just prepared. And today, we're going to show you exactly how that is. Welcome to EdTech Tuesdays. I'm
Hi,
Yamille
everyone.
with my co-host, Crystal Gonzalez.
Hi, guys. Welcome to AI Tech Tuesday. Thank you, Yamil. Yes, that's exactly what we're going to be talking today about is what to do to prepare for for the slow season, right? Not the busy
Hmm.
season, but the slow season, because
Exactly.
we get that question a lot. And I get that question a lot when business owners are reaching out for our help. They're like, well, we need help during our busy season, but we don't need help during our off season. So we want to talk to you about that today and go in a little bit more detail. So some of the things we're going to go over is kind of what can you do during those slow months to prepare for the busy months, and how can you keep revenue coming in even when the phones slow down? So, Yamil, what's
Exactly.
your first tip?
Well, I mean, my opinion on this is that this is a best time to analyze what's working and what's not working in your
Hmm.
day-to-day operations. And it's a great time to fix what's actually not working because you can't really do that when you are hustling and, there's everybody's busy, there's no extra time for anything. This is the perfect time to be
Hmm.
proactive rather than reactive when it comes to your business.
Yep.
And everybody likes to make sure that their employees are busy and their techs are busy in a trades business, for example. But there's lots of ways that you can make sure that that happens. But you got to plan for it and you got to do it. What's the best time during the slow times?
Mhm. Yep, absolutely. There's some things that I recommend that we prepare ahead, or that our assistants can help companies prepare ahead with. So those things could be, planning ahead with some social media posts so that they can be pre-posted and scheduled for months out. If you have a scheduler, that's really good. Other things are newsletter content. If you're thinking about putting together a newsletter or keeping your current client list engaged, that's something that could be very beneficial, that could help you really bring in money during the slow
Hmm.
seasons. If you're having special offers that you're offering, one of the things you can do is use AI to help you explore what offers you could come up with,
Hmm.
what creative things you could do that is different from your competition but stands out and can bring in some money. There's other things. I know, Yamil, one of the things you mentioned was you know, s- putting together some maintenance plans if you're in, right? What else?
Yeah, if you're let's use an example of an HVAC company. When you're busy, you're installing systems, you're doing emergency work because we all know that on the hottest day of the year, that's when the AC decides it's gonna, not work, or the coldest day of the year, the furnace. So, what if you take this slow time to remind people that you don't want to wait until that time to have that happen to you? That's not pleasant when you 100 and I mean, where I am today, it's 100 degrees. If my AC burned down, or not burned out, but just stopped working, I would not be a happy person right now. And good luck trying to find somebody to come in during this time because they're swamped, right? So
Mhm.
slow time is the best time to reach out to the customers that you have. And this is how you got to make sure that you have a client list that you can reach out to, so that
Mhm.
when you have times like this, you can actually do that and reach out to them for an inspection, or, hey, we're offering a special on biannual inspections for your systems. Not only do
Mhm.
you have something to do during slow times that prevents that really crazy busy time from happening, you want to be busy, but you don't want to be like pulling your hair out kind of busy. But
Mhm.
also, it creates another level of revenue for your business, that if you have enough of these maintenance plans running, you have consistent revenue regardless, right? And if you have
Mhm.
enough of them, that's pretty decent revenue, right? That you can count on all the time. And it's a good time to reach out to people to remind them that you're there, that you're around and you are ready for them to call you and do something for them, right?
There's a there's a an audit that I'm actually working on with a
Mm,
client, and that's one of the questions that she had. She was like I said, and it's common. Like, I want your services. I need your services. I'm slammed right now and I just can't keep up. And I'm the bottleneck in my own business. But what happens during slow season? And so I wanted to share with everyone just a little results of what came up for her that we're going to be talking over. And that is some of the recommendations here: build and launch your own newsletter, email newsletter. She has a vacation rental company, but so it's not in specific in the trades, but there's still talking about running off season promotions. um Yamil and I talked about some of the things that are also good would be a low entry offer, or even an offer where it's complimentary to go in and you have a clear upsell path. How is it that you're going to, and you want that clear upsell path in an SOP to train your techs or the guys out in the field, your salesmen. How are they going to take something that's free and turn that into revenue for the company? So brainstorm those things, come up with those things, try them out, see which ones work better than others. This is where you'll shine and where you'll be able to have revenue coming in even during those slow months. Get creative. Here another thing was she wanted to create a YouTube channel. You could create a YouTube channel, put together some
Mhm.
YouTube content and become the expert in your field, or drive a referral program. Maybe it's the time you reach out. In this instance, is reaching out to accountants, but if whatever company it is, who's sending you
Mhm.
referrals, who your referral partners are, you could send out, messages, emails, marketing in your newsletter that if you refer to us, we do X, Y, and Z for you. So just some of the things. And then another thing I wanted to talk a little bit about is some people come to us and they're confused about what they can automate. And this is a
Mhm.
clear example of what can be automated in business. Isn't that right, Emil? That
Yeah.
sometimes business owners have difficulty figuring out, they just don't understand what automation is. They hear it
Mhm.
everywhere and they're
Mhm.
not sure what they can automate.
Yeah, I know. I mean, I think the one of the best things that now you've told me that you've done this with clients before is just interview them and ask them, what do you do on a typical day or a typical week?
Mhm.
Can you list the tasks? Even if they seem or feel mundane, just list them for me. I mean, they're taking your time, so they are important to make sure
Mhm.
that we understand what you're doing.
Mhm.
And you can then feed that into an AI and say, hey, of these items that I've just given you, I want to automate. What should I automate? And it'll
Mhm.
tell you. And I think a lot of people worry that automating is going to take the personality out of things. And we've talked about
Yeah.
this before, but
Yeah.
the thing is that automation is what you make it. So, you don't automate things out of the ether. You automate existing things, existing processes. So, first of all, before you automate, you got to make sure that things are working properly because you don't want to automate something that's already broken because it's going to expose it and make it even worse. But there's no need to be afraid. It's like just write down what you do, give it, and then it's like you at least if you hadn't thought of it, at least it'll give you some ideas of what you can automate, what you shouldn't automate.
Mhm.
Ultimately, we talk about this all the time, Crystal and I. It's like a lot of times we just want to control something, right?
Mhm.
We don't wanna let it go for fear of not being needed, not being wanted, not being in control, not feeling like you're the boss 'cause something else is doing it for you. But ultimately, the thing is that that time that you're spending doing those tasks, whatever it is that you're doing, is time you could be doing stuff that requires you. A lot of things don't require your personal touch, right? Not
Mhm.
each individual time. You could decide what you want to sound like and what your messaging is going to be like. And that's great. That's what it should be. But that doesn't mean you actually have to be the one hitting send on the email,
Mhm.
right? You don't have to be the one. And it's like, just get the message out, the general message, personalize it for your clients, send and have it send automatically. There's a lot of
And
things
this
that you
is
can
the
do that way.
time in your slow season
Hmm.
where it's good to set this up. Set it up when you're
Yes.
slow. Think about everything.
All the things.
Go back with your team and find out what it is that they're doing repetitively. In this instance, with this vacation rental company owner, she presented me with this long list, and she said, over the course of a month, these are the tasks I have to do every single month, and here's my list. I'm
Mhm.
exhausted, I'm tired, I'm not getting time off, I'm not having time to grow the company. She gave me the list, and I want to just share my screen again and show you how cool it was when, with AI's help, we were able to come up with a really cool outline of kind of what can be delegated, what can be audited, or what can be automated, what does a client need to do themselves that shouldn't
Mhm.
be delegated. So I'm going to share that here just really quick. So here it is. It says end of month checklist, but really it's the entire month checklist that she's going through month by month. But it put things into 4 buckets: what gets automated, what's get delegated, what's augment means it's partially automated, but it needs a human reviewing. But AI formulas are doing the heavy lifting. And then what should the client keep? And of the 60 tasks that she provided me on a list, roughly 80% of those tasks can be automated, delegated, or AI augmented, and only a
Wow.
small core of them need approval. This was really crazy when I was able to come up with this report and say, wow, because what she said to me was, I know there's automation, I just don't really know how to apply it in my business. And
Mhm.
so this is really cool because we're going to show her next steps in her path. And this is what Yamil and I have the satisfaction of helping businesses do all the time.
Yeah.
But let's just take a peek at this little checklist. These are the things that she needs to do. Is she's using a notebook, a paper notebook. We're like, during your slow season, we need to take everything in that notebook. It needs to be converted to data. We don't want it written
Mhm.
down on a piece of paper. This is for us to be able to have the data, like we were talking in the last episode. We need that data to make your business smarter. But how do you convert that data if it's in a notebook, a handwritten notebook? But here's some of the things,
Exactly.
if you see, some of the things that needs kept, some of the things that need an assistant to help, and some of the things that she gets to delegate. But overall, the summary is that out of everything, there was 54 tasks, 100% out of 100. I'm sorry, there was a total of 54 tasks, but 60 were audited. 10 of them can be automated, 31 can be delegated, 13 are augmented. In this, it says only 0 the client, but I know that that's not quite accurate. So I got to go
Mhm.
back and look at
Mhm.
this. This is still in pre-stage, but just so you guys know, like, this is really, really cool, but so many things can be automated. And during your
Mhm.
slow season, this is the time to put these things in place.
Exactly. Exactly. It's shocking the number of things. And here's the other thing. You're talking about what did you say, 80% or 60% of the delegation? I mean, automation delegation and of the list, the percentage
It said
was it 80%?
90%. The final
90%.
number on the report, on her final report, said 90% of it was gonna be able to
Okay.
be delegated and automated. Mhm,
Okay. So if you consider 90, how much actual time is she spending doing these things? How many
mhm,
hours of the day? When you're thinking about whether you should or shouldn't automate, think about this. Total up the number of hours you are spending doing whatever it is, whatever task it is, add a dollar amount to that. And then you're going to be like, oh my God, what? Because you're just burning that money in the trash.
It's
You're
not
just, or in
just
the
burning your
backyard.
money. It's not
You're
just
burning
burning your
yourself
money
out.
too. You're burning your brain
You're
out,
burning
right?
yourself
You're
out.
burning
Right.
yourself out and you have no time for growth.
Or time off with your family, your friends, your kids, a
Mhm,
vacation.
mhm,
All those things are restorative and you need them. As humans, we need that. The AI doesn't need a vacation.
mhm,
The AI doesn't need a break. It doesn't need food. It doesn't need rest. It doesn't need sleep, but
mhm,
you do. So all those things have to be considered because they are important. And ultimately, it is 2026. And whether we like it or not, this is the way of the future. So I think that, smart business owners really should start considering it very seriously. How am I going to do this? Because if they don't do it, their competitor is going to do it. And you don't want to be that guy who's stuck in the Stone Ages, right?
mhm.
Because customers are going to go with the other guy.
Yep.
Even if they're
And
not as good, even if they're not as good.
yep, and this makes it opens it up so when you are in your busy season, you've prepared yourself, you've got
Exactly.
the groundwork
Exactly.
laid, and then when you're in your busy season, you're gonna be able to capture more because you're not burnt
Mhm.
out, you're not maxed out, your
Exactly.
team isn't maxed out. We've automated things during your slow season to help you handle your busy season better,
Mhm.
capture more money to help float you during your slower
Exactly.
season. You're growing. Also, the other thing is you don't wanna sit and wait for your phone to ring. You're not
No.
sitting there waiting for your phone to ring. Look back at your past client list, see what you can reactivate in there. There's so
Mhm.
many things that can be done. What other things can they do during their slow season to bring in some revenue?
Well, we already talked about, maintenance plans, any kind of anything that you can sell that is on a recurring basis.
Mhm,
Small services, think about adding complementary services. Talk about this earlier that, maybe you are a pressure washing company, for example. And what kind of things can you add during the slow season? It's probably going to be winter, fall, the times where they're not up on a ladder, spraying your house, whatever. What else can you do instead during those times aside from adding maintenance plans and, reminding your customers that they
mhm,
should get their house washed. That's my thing right now. Our house needs to be washed, and we did it last year. And the company that we did it with, that we hired to do it, hasn't bothered to contact us. And to be honest, I don't remember who they were. So, but if they actually contacted us and said, "Hey, do you need your house washed?" We'd probably hire them just to save some time. But I mean, those are just some other things that you can do. The maintenance plans, add complimentary service. We already talked about that. And because if you have a guaranteed revenue, hitting your business, wouldn't that be nice? And you don't even have to
mhm,
run ads now too either because, everything's
mhm.
coming in the way that it should.
Mhm.
So,
A lot of different ideas out there. So,
mhm,
explore them, guys. Use AI to help you as
yeah,
well. The AI is a
exactly.
big tool. It's not all what's in your brain. It's what can you
No,
brainstorm? Use it as a brainstorm tool. But in this instance, and it's a very common thing that we both hear is, what are we going to do during our slow season? Everything's really, really cool. And you only have so many techs you can put in the field during your busy season. So you can only make
mhm,
so much money,
exactly.
but if you're preparing during your slow season for when your busy season ramps up, you'll be able to capture as much as you can and you're going to be able to float by better, but also don't sit and wait for the phone to ring. Come up with proactive ways to really grow your
Exactly.
business. And there's so many ways. So I guess that's pretty much it for today. But what is our next episode going to be about?
Next week, we're going to be showing you how we are using some of our favorite AI tools in our business.
Oh my gosh. I'm
We're gonna
excited for
try
that one.
we're gonna try not to overwhelm you. Try to use
Yeah.
practical uses for what we use.
We've tried to stay on the
Yeah.
easier side, but we notice more and more people are using AI
Yeah.
and they're getting a little bit better at it. So we thought, well, let's throw in some cool tools and things and little things that we've been doing that we think you guys might like to learn about. So we're excited for that
Exactly.
upcoming episode. So,
Exactly.
well,
So,
that's all
thanks
for
for
our show
joining
today.
us.
Yep.
Yeah, thanks for joining us. It was great having you. Again, as we said before, if you have any questions, if you have any comments, if you have any feedback, or you have suggestions for what we should cover in future episodes, please don't hesitate to comment on the video. We're going to be posting it on Facebook and all the usual places, so feel free to do that. We'd love to hear from you. Other than that, thank you for joining us and see you next week. Oh, hey, don't forget to hit the subscribe button and the
Yes.
like button. It helps us
Yeah.
grow, and we
And
really
if you know
appreciate
of
you
a
being here.
guest, some
Oh,
guest out there
yeah,
that knows some AI out there that could help us come up with some more creative things, and you think they'd be a good guest for our show, let us know.
absolutely.
Send
Thanks
them our
again for
way.
joining us.
Bye
Have a
bye,
great week,
guys.
everybody.